It was obviously really, really sweet, timely that it came yesterday. Obviously, this is a golf course you have to drive it really well, and been kind of struggling with the driver, but it's been a range session. It's been a long time since I've been able to stand on the range and just kind of beat balls fluidly, effortlessly, without trying to feel like I'm steering it. And when I went to film it as well, it looked a little bit different. It looked definitely better than other swings that I've made lately. So I'm really pleased with that. I hope the weather kind of stays okay so I can continue that feel and see if it holds up, because I think we've all been there. We find a feel and then we think we're back, and then the next day it all falls apart. So I'm kind of looking forward to try to test it out a little bit more today.
Over to Mike 2, please.
Yeah, about the swing, I saw a clip on Instagram the other day with you working with a G-box.
Yeah.
What are you still working on with your swing?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the main thing is that I get a little bit stuck in the downswing, so I've just been trying a lot of different training aids and stuff to see if I get a feel that will get the arms and hands a little bit more out in transition. Because for me, I just pull it down a little bit, and for me, with my pattern, that's really tough. So I've just been trying to, see if that resurrected a feel of some sort. But I didn't really find that was the missing piece for me.
Okay. Also, yesterday, Ludwig said that you like to talk about UFOs. What's up with that?
What's up with that? Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What is up with that? It's just something that I've been into the last couple of years. I think I've always been extremely into my golf, and sometimes you just look at your golf swing and trying to practice this hard and you don't really get the results that you want. It can be quite frustrating, and I think it's been one of those things that I've kind of taken my mind off of golf a little bit, and then the more you go into it, you just get more questions. It's one of those things that you don't really find any more answers, but it's very interesting to go in there and kind of challenge some of your beliefs that you currently hold, and you kind of have to expand your mind a little bit, and I think it's super fascinating because it encompasses or touches on so many different topics as well that I find it really interesting.
Over to Luke on 1.
Hey, Viktor. You were saying something on the range yesterday. I'm just trying to understand it, where sometimes when you get tentative or it's hard to trust it on the golf course, your takeaway gets a little armsy maybe, and you want to feel like you're extending and really whipping the club away. I'm just trying to understand that.
Yeah, basically. I don't want to go too far deep into the golf swing, but it's just the golf swing just seems so counterintuitive and almost paradoxical sometimes, where I know if I look at my 3D data, like I rotate way faster and way more than I used to do when I first came out on tour. Some of that is because I'm hitting it further, I've got more speed, I'm more dynamic. So then by that data, I've tried to almost slow down and not rotate as much off the ball. But then what I do is that I just spin open. So it was almost a little counterintuitive yesterday, where I felt almost more dynamic off the ball, but instead of spinning around, I was moving more up and back. So it almost kept me more centered and more still. And from there, I can actually use my body like I used to before and not get it stuck. So that's this game. It's so fickle. You try to do something the opposite of what you're doing, but sometimes that's not the answer. So it's very elusive.
Up top there, Mike 16.
Viktor, you are generally one of the more popular players on tour. How do you prepare for fans that might be actively rooting against you this week?
I think you just got to stick to your game, and if you play well, and there's going to be some comments here and there. They won't really come close to the thoughts that I have in my own head, so I think I'll just laugh it off for the most part, and just try to smile it off and make a few birdies. That usually seems to do the trick.
Right here, Mark.
Hey, Viktor. Can you put into words what Rory means to this team?
Yeah, how long we got? He's obviously a great player and very skilled, very experienced, but also he carries a lot of weight in the team room as well. He's very comforting to have there. He makes everyone in the team room feel good, and I think he brings out the best in everyone in there. So it's great to have a person like that in the team room for sure.
What was your reaction 2 years ago when he did the microphone drop pretty much in Rome and said, you guys are going to come out and win in Bethpage? What was the reaction to that?
Pretty pumped. Yeah, here we are. Let's do it.
Over to Kyle on 9.
Over here, Victor. I'd love to see what it looks like for you to actually go deep into the golf swing after that explanation. You were on the last 2 teams, 1 loss, 1 win. When you guys talk about strategy, talk about handling this experience, do you draw more, or did you learn more from the loss on American soil or from the win over in Europe?
Good question. I don't know which one I learned more from, but it was very just interesting from my own personal experience, kind of going through the loss at Whistling Straits. I felt like I was maybe more timid as a rookie playing on foreign soil. I think I played just a bit more insecure maybe, but after 2023, my best season of my career, I felt just more excitement. And obviously playing at home, I just felt ready to exhibit kind of how I'd played throughout that year. And I wasn't as much nervous as in terms of messing up. It was more like, okay, I'm ready for this and I'm going to show what I'm good for. And I think now that I've kind of seen both perspectives, even though I've had some major struggles with my game the last couple of years, I feel like despite that, I can still overcome that and play some really good golf. So I do feel like being on both of those teams has really helped me. It is going to help me this week.
Back up over here to Mike 20.
Victor, I wouldn't expect you to give away the secrets of the captain, but I think that's 3 days in a row now. You'll be paired alongside Robert MacIntyre in practice. If that happens to be a pairing over the first 2 days, give us an insight into the sort of personality sets that the two of you have got that you think will work.
Yeah, I played a bunch with Bob over the past few years. We obviously came out at a similar time, and we played some junior golf and amateur golf together, so get along great with Bob. He's obviously a great player and had an amazing year this year. And I think we really vibe well off of each other, and we've had some good games here the last couple of weeks. So it'd be fun. We'll see what happens, but I think we'd make a good team.
Mike 19.
Hi, Victor, back here. With the atrocious weather seemingly setting for the day, have you been told how that might affect practice today? Do you think you guys will get out on the course, and if not, how will you try and replicate, and what will you do?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they've closed the practice area or not. Hopefully, I can practice for a little bit and maybe go out there and play 4 or 5 holes at least. I'd like to kind of see how what I'm doing on the range will hold up on the golf course and just get a bit more comfortable. So hopefully it stays clear there for a little bit, and also for the remainder of the week. You don't want the course to be too soggy either. So we'll see.
And how will that affect things if you're not able to get out on the course, the day before?
I mean, it's not ideal, but it wouldn't be the last time something like that has happened. I'd like to think I'm a professional and can handle situations like this. So, yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll wrap it up with Dylan over here on 1.
How much do you pay attention to what position your opponent is in match play, and how much does your strategy deviate, say, if they're out of position?
I think it definitely does matter, but on the golf course like this, probably less so, because the fairways aren't super wide. They're not super narrow either, but the rough is so thin that even if you spray a shot off the tee, you can't really go, okay, he's way out of position, let's just play conservative here. Because if you get lucky and have a nice lie, you can easily make birdie from out of position here. So I think aggressiveness is probably going to be a good strategy. You're still just going to have to execute and play like you're trying to birdie almost every hole. And then obviously if you miss, you're still in the hole. Because I don't think there'll be too many holes compared to maybe Rome, for example. Rome had a lot of birdie holes, but at the same time, it had a lot of difficult holes where you could easily win by par. I think it's going to be less of that this week. So I think if you just stay prudent and just execute and kind of let the opponents maybe make a couple extra bogeys, then I think that's the way to go.
And do you have a general philosophical stance on lift, clean, and place?
I mean, I think it's the right thing to do if it gets super wet out there and it's just mud ball in every hole. I don't think that's what the people want to see. I think it's maybe another discussion whether we're going to have a club length or a scorecard. Usually in Europe we have a scorecard. In the U.S. we have a club length. I think that can maybe influence how we play a little too much, especially around the greens and in terms of angles and stuff. But I think it is kind of necessary if you're getting mud balls on every hole. I just don't think that's great TV.
Thanks for your time, Victor. We appreciate it. Robert MacIntyre joins us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Robert, welcome to your second Ryder Cup. We'll jump right into questions. Martin?
Bob, I know they're not as big as the matches you've got coming up over the next 3 days, but how did you get on with Mike Burrows in your warm-up matches?
2-1 victory. No, it was great fun. Good time to get down and see courses for next year. Aronimink and obviously Shinnecock. And then a little treat at Pine Valley. So, no, it was great fun. Good prep. Obviously my coach Simon came over. So, yeah, it's been good. And then we've got to work coming back here.
How do you feel your role has been in the team room this time compared to 2 years ago?
I don't think it's changed at all. I think my comfort levels within the team has changed. Last time, obviously, I was playing mainly on the European Tour. Then you're stepping into a room of guys like Rory, Jon, Rosie. But thankfully, egos go out the window when you go into that European team room, and everyone comes together, and it's a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable this year than I was last year because it was a little bit daunting last time. But no, they made you feel welcome then, and I mean, now it feels like we've got a better bond.
Right here with Mark.
Robert, just curious, other than the obvious with Rory on the golf course, what does he bring to this team? What does he mean to this team beyond the obvious?
I mean, I'm not sure. He's a leader. He's potentially the greatest European golfer of all time. I mean, these things speak for himself. I've looked up to him since I was young, and I've got no problem walking behind Rory McIlroy if he's leading the charge. I mean, he's a guy that's special to the game of golf, but very special to the European side.
Over to Luke on 2.
Bob, over here. When you have like a big putt to half a hole or win a match or the first tee shot, like what is literally going through your brain? Like, are you thinking a swing thought? Are you thinking about nothing? Like, just like, what is going on in there?
It depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on how you're feeling. It depends on a lot of things. It can, look, we've got things to handle different situations. And yeah, it just varies. It doesn't, there's not one way that fits all. It's very much for that moment. Sometimes it can be a positive thought. It can be something you say to yourself. It can be an outside thing that Mike, my caddy, can do to help me. So yeah, look, there's lots of different kind of strategies to deal with that.
Doug, go ahead.
Over here, Bob. how have you prepared to handle what kind of crowd reaction you're going to get this week? Did you get more value from the VR set or from the weekend at Caves Valley?
Yeah, no, I just play golf. The crowd's here to watch us at the end of the day, whether they're for you or against you. I mean, I must say at that opening ceremony last night, there was a lot of European fans, and yeah, look, it's going to be what it is, and my job is to go and play good golf, the same as the rest of the European guys, and if we do our jobs well, then we'll be happy.
Have you prepared to put blinders on, earmuffs, whatever?
Just go and do our job. Yeah, we can't control them. I can control me. I can control what happens within our group. So, yeah, I've heard a few things before. I'll hear a few things this week, but I suppose it's part of the game.
Back up here to 20.
Bob, the captain has spoken this week about this being your time and this being your place and that type of thing as mottos. We know how proud you are as a Scotsman. How important is it for you to follow in those? I think there's six Scots lads have come over here and been part of the teams that have won. What does that mean to you, that kind of inspiration and being one of them?
Yeah, no, we're talking about a lot of things this week, and I just think that what an opportunity we've got as a team to do something special, to do something that will go down in history. But again, there's 3 days of golf, 3 long days of golf, and if we just control what we can control, we'll be just fine. And look, there's so much trust gone into every part of the week, every part of the team, from the players to the vices to the caddies to partners to backroom staff, everything. I mean, there's no stone unturned, and at the end of the day now it's about go out there and perform, and I feel like if we do that well, we're going to be happy at the end of the week.
Everybody knows the importance of family, it's you, so this is like an extension of it.
Yeah, look, the European side, when I went in Rome, I didn't know what to expect, but I've come here knowing what to expect. And I mean, the minute you walk in that team room, it's as though you've known each other since you were young kids, and it's a different. I've played team sports all my life, and it's the same feeling that you get on a bus trip home from a shinty match as you get when you walk in that team room. There's a real family feel, a real togetherness, and yeah, we're on one mission.
Over to Dylan on 1.
At risk of cliche here, Bob, is there anything you think you learned about yourself at the last Ryder Cup that has kind of changed your positioning in the game?
I just think I learned I can compete at the top level of golf. Look, I learned so much from equipment side of it. I changed pretty much all my equipment since Rome, and I feel like my game has progressed. There's still little things that I feel that sort of it can improve, but I just learned I can compete at that level. I had a great partner in Rosie at the last one, but yeah, I think the last 2 seasons on the PGA Tour have helped me massively to be in this team, to be where I am in the world of golf, and yeah, let the fun begin.
We'll wrap things up right here on mic 2.
So Donald Trump is proud of his Scottish heritage. As a Scot, how do you feel about him coming to watch tomorrow?
Again, I just play golf. Politics and stuff is out of I mean, I'm not bright enough, for one, to be worrying about politics. I'm worrying more about what goes on this week on the golf course. And yeah, as a European, we've got a job to do, and yeah, try and compete as hard as we can, and hopefully win the Ryder Cup.
So you don't find it a distraction?
It's just another spectator.
Thanks for your time, Bob. We appreciate it. Matt Fitzpatrick is with us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Matt, welcome to your 4th Ryder Cup. Let's go ahead and jump right into questions. Dylan, go ahead.
What part of this week do you look forward to the most, Matt?
I think just being with Team Europe, you know. Obviously, you know, I've watched Ryder Cups growing up, watched Rory, watched Rosie, you know, even the vice captains, Jose Maria, Francesco. And obviously to be in and amongst them on, you know, having the same goal of trying to win the Ryder Cup this week is always a special experience. So yeah, it's always nice to be, you know, part of the team.
Are there any teammates that you get more out of this week that kind of come out of their shell or something that wouldn't happen week in, week out?
I think everyone does, really. I think everyone kind of gets involved in the banter and you know, I think that's the best thing about it. I think everyone comes out of the shell because, you know, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. And I think the great thing is I feel like we have a lot of fun doing it as well. So that's what makes this week so great.
Luke?
Hey, Matt. Kind of a weird question, but you know, how do you divorce like something that's statistically unlikely to happen, like making a 15-footer, right, with something you really want to happen, like wanting to make this 15-footer so you win the hole? Like, how do you both know what is probably going to happen and also just like get into like an irrational state almost and be like, oh,
yeah, I feel like this week though it's kind of the opposite of that. It's funny, we were watching golf earlier this year and I can't remember who it was, but they had a putt to win or playoff or whatever it was. And it came up on the graph like, 20% make percentage. And my wife said something really funny, and she was like, I really don't feel like that means anything anyway, because I just feel like it's either going in or it's not. And I was like, yeah, I guess when you put it like that, like that's a kind of a good point. I guess every putt's 50%, yeah. But I think on weeks like this, I feel like I've noticed that, you know, putts going from everywhere, you know, and putts are missed from everywhere. It really is that kind of week that, you know, special things happen, both good and bad. And I think that's what makes this event so special as well, is that that obviously adds to the atmosphere, it adds to the whole experience and adds to the event. And that's why I feel like it is such a incredible event to be a part of. And when you're in the middle of playing at it, you're basically willing every shot to go close, every putt to go in, and you know, you're just hoping that that's going to add something to whatever it is that you're doing.
Up to mic 10.
Hi, Matt. I saw a video on social media of you having a little chip around the greens during the practice round yesterday and being on the receiving end of a few heckles. Would you say you are a player with thick skin?
I mean, I'm from Sheffield, so that's probably a good start. But yeah, I mean, it was good fun. I think that for me, you know, you've got to buy into it, you know. And I was having a good laugh with those boys, and we were laughing about it. They were telling me, "Oh, you're probably going to be here on Friday or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right. To be fair, like so." Yeah, we had a good laugh there, and they actually followed us for a couple more holes, and so I think, you know, like you say, you got to take it on the chin, whatever it is. But again, like I keep saying, it's what makes this event so fun, so special is the fans. The fans are what make this event, and you know, it's obviously a great opportunity for us to come and try and play our best golf in front of them.
Just as a follow-up, where it has crossed a line in the past is when wives have been targeted by the fans, and you're one of several European players who has an American wife. Have you said anything to Catherine about what to expect this week and how to handle it?
Yeah, of course, there's always been conversations about, you know, what could happen or what couldn't happen. And I think everyone's very well versed on what that is. You know, but again, we've had that conversation between me and her, and she said that, you know, it doesn't matter. I'll be out there, whatever. It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to be affected at all. So everyone knows how it is, and you know, like Keegan said in his speech, like Luke said in his speech, I have no doubt everyone's going to be as respectful as they possibly can. Yeah, like I say, I think that's what makes it fun. You know, that's what makes it different.
Up here, Mike 19.
Hi, Matt. Back here, just following up on that, really. I mean, I read a piece a couple of days ago where you mentioned your parents had decided not to come out here, I think on the back of their experiences at Whistling Straits. Can you just tell us about that, about their decision, and just elaborate on it? And did you kind of tell them not to come, or
No,
advise them
I left it completely up to them. I mean, there's two things on that. You know, there is obviously a little bit of that. They didn't have a great experience in Whistling Straits. That's not like a lie or anything, or making anything up. But the other thing is, both my parents are playing next week in the Dunhill, so they also didn't really want to ruin that experience as well, because that's obviously special to have that. So. Yeah, it's a combination. You know, it's a lot of travel. It's obviously a busy week. It's a tiring week, and then they obviously want to have a nice week next week as well with me and my brother. So, yeah, you know, no denying that they had a bad experience in the past, but you know, there's no reason why it has to be like that this time.
And just to follow up quickly, I mean, how does that make you feel that they're not here? Because I know they travel a lot with you, don't they?
Yeah, they've obviously been to a lot, but. You know, I'm fine with that. You know, they've been to 3 Ryder Cups already. You know, 2 away, 2 at home, 1 at home. Sorry, and you know, they've seen me in all sorts of events. So, you know, obviously I'll miss them this week for sure. But you know, I'm not. I know that they're doing what's best for them, and that's what's important. So.
Mike 12.
Matt, when you look back on it, just how did that challenge from Luke to kind of go play in both the British and the European Masters kind of maybe spark anything for you, and just how validating was it to perform in both of those well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that thing, I kind of signed up for the British Masters earlier in the year, and the European Masters as well. I love playing in Switzerland. You know, I've had a good record around there, and I enjoy the week as an experience as well. So it's not just, you know, the extra stuff with it that as to why I played. British Masters, I spoke to Luke the week before and kind of, you know, put him in the loop of where my head was at. Obviously, I played a lot in the summer to try and, you know, cement that top 50 place as well as get some Ryder Cup points. You know, we discussed that it was probably a good thing for me to come to the British Masters and play, and you know, that's what I did. Obviously, like you say, it was great to have a good result there, and me and my team's goal for those 2 weeks would just conserve energy really, and just be smart and not to burn ourselves out in, you know, obviously in the event that we do make this team. And obviously I feel like we did a really good job of that. It was a very it was 2 really nice weeks, 2 pretty easy weeks from a practice sense. And like you say, to go and perform as well is obviously always a nice added bonus. Based on kind of how the last few Ryder Cups have gone for you, did you ever worry about getting a chance to be on this stage and kind of getting selected? I think it always goes through your mind. Of course it does, you know. But I really kind of believed in myself, believed in the form that I'd shown from May. I wasn't necessarily thinking I was guaranteed a spot, but I felt like I thoroughly deserved to be in the conversation, given how well I'd played to the point of selection. So, yeah, it always crosses your mind. You know, Luke has every right to go in whichever direction he wants with a captain's pick, and it's always easier when you qualify outright. But I really felt like I'd made a really good, strong case for myself to be on the team.
Over here with Bob. You good? Mark?
Yeah, Matt, I just have 2 quick. One is regarding Rory. Other than the obvious, how good he is on the golf course, can you put into words what he means to this team, kind of in the back room as a leader, etc.? What does he bring to it?
Yeah, he's obviously a great person to have in and around the team. You know, you've seen in the media over the last however many years how much the Ryder Cup means to him, particularly after what he first said about the Ryder Cup. But you can see it every day in you know, the practice we have, the discussions we have, his attitude towards the week, and how important it is to him that he wants to succeed, and that obviously gets everyone else going around him, and we want to be part of that. So yeah, he's very great in that aspect.
Just unrelated to that, when you look at your record here, Ryder Cup record. How bothersome is that to you, and how representative is it of how you really have played during those cups?
Yeah, I don't, I've said already before this week about my record, and 2016, I would openly admit I wasn't ready for that one. I was 21 or whatever I was, and I'd not really played any real golf in the States on the PGA Tour yet, so, I feel like I kind of throw that one out the window a little bit. Then, 21, I actually felt like I played really well, I felt like I deserved more than what I got out of that one. And then Rome was probably the same thing. Obviously got my first full point with Rory. We obviously played well on the Saturday afternoon as well. And, obviously Max played well as well on the Sunday singles. So, yeah, it's obviously frustrating. But, all I can do is keep qualifying for the teams and keep giving myself the opportunity to improve on the record. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is to keep putting myself in the position to make the teams. That's all I can do.
Do one more quick one with Sean right here.
Matt, a lot of very elite golfers kind of mention that they don't feel that they belong until they play in a team event at the Ryder Cup. What does it say about pro golfers that they don't feel that sense of validation until something like this happens to them?
I think the fact is that this event is obviously just a very different animal. It's a very different experience to what we have week in, week out as individual players, and to be part of something that's obviously bigger than yourself is, I think it's always quite eye-opening as to what it means to the other players around you. Your peers that you play with, you play against week in, week out. To be part of that and to, hopefully have success in it or even have failure in it and come together as a team still, I think that's what makes it such a special week. Specifically in 2021, we had a bad result, and there was no pointing fingers, there was no blaming. There was everyone comes together. It's like, no, we'll get up and we'll go again in 23 in Rome, and and that's what we did. So I think being able to play together as a team and experience that is what makes what makes it so special, and why people probably feel that way.
Thanks for your time, Matt. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rory McIlroy is with us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Rory, welcome to your 8th Ryder Cup. We'll go ahead and get started with questions, starting right here on mic 13.
Rory, winning these things at home is obviously a great experience, but it's winning away that makes absolute legends, I guess. What is it about this particular group that gives you confidence that you can do that this week?
The one thing that I've talked about a lot going into this Ryder Cup is I love the continuity of this team. I love that 11 of the 12 are the same as we had in Rome, and the 12th has the same DNA as the other one. So we've won before. I feel like it's been a really cohesive group for the last 3 years. We all know what to expect. We all know what our roles are within the team. And I think that has us prepared to give it a really good go this week. Over the past, basically since 2012, you look at the results of the Ryder Cup, the home team has won every time, but they also have won convincingly. It's been pretty one-sided either way. So, whatever team, whether that's Europe or America, that is the one to break that duck, I think is honestly is going to go down as one of the best teams in Ryder Cup history. And, you know, Luke said it in his opening remarks yesterday, but we are here and we are playing for history, and we're playing for the players that came before us and the people that basically laid the foundations for what the European Ryder Cup team are. But we're also playing for the guys that are going to come behind us as well, and, you know, the young boys that are dreaming of becoming European Ryder Cup players. You know, we want to try to leave a legacy for them as well. So we have a wonderful opportunity this week, but we also understand it's going to be very difficult.
Claire?
Hi, Rory. What advice have you given to the younger guys about not just playing a Ryder Cup, but playing one in the United States?
Yeah, look, I think everyone has to find their own balance of what works for them, or what, you know, we're playing in an environment that we're not really used to, or we don't get to play in very often. I'm very lucky. I get a lot of support pretty much everywhere I go when I play golf, and it's going to feel a little different for me this week. But that's to be expected, and that's totally understandable. And I feel at times in the Ryder Cup I've engaged too much with the crowd. But then there's times where I haven't engaged enough. So it's really just trying to find the balance of using that energy from the crowd to fuel your performance. I felt like at Hazeltine I probably engaged too much at times, and then in Whistling Straits I didn't engage enough and felt pretty flat because of it. So it's just trying to find that balance. And I can't tell anyone on the team what that balance is. They really have to find it themselves. But that's the challenge of playing away, right? It's you're not just trying to perform to your best level, but someone in the American team holds a putt, and then you have to try to follow them in, but you've got the crowd going crazy and you're waiting for them to quiet. There's a lot of little things like that I guess takes you out of your normal routine that you just have to deal with, and that's part of the challenge of this week.
Up to Mike 10.
Hi, Rory. Would you say that from the moment Ricky and Tommy shook hands in Rome 2 years ago, that this, even more so than the Masters perhaps, has been the singular focus for you?
I think when you get swept up in Ryder Cup week, it's easy to say that, but I still want to play well for myself, and I've always said I'm proudest of my individual achievements in the game. But the most memorable moments and the most fun I've had in my career have been at Ryder Cups, so they're a little bit different. But I do think that, as I said, winning another away Ryder Cup, just considering how hard that has been over the past 12 years, it would be one of the greatest accomplishments of my career for sure.
Just a super quick second question. Nice to be back in the Medina Saturday pink today.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It is. It's yeah, it's nice.
Dan in the middle here.
Over here. What were your impressions as a kid of America growing up, and then now having lived here for so long? How is it similar or different to what you thought it would be like?
Everyone wanted to make it in America. It's the land of opportunity. I still believe it's the greatest country in the world, and if you come here and you work hard and you dedicate yourself, you can be or do whatever you want. I am unbelievably grateful and lucky that I got to come to America early on, and I think success is celebrated here. I think there's a wonderful sense of work ethic. And yeah, as I live here. My wife is American. My daughter is American. I have a lot of affinity towards this country, and I think everyone that lives here should have that same affinity, because it is a wonderful place.
Up to 20.
Hey, Rory. Everyone loves the rivalries of the Ryder Cup. Bryson said he's going to be chirping in your ear. You said that he only says your name to get attention. Is this early mind games? Have you got a message back for him or Team USA?
I promised Luke I would only talk about the European team today. I'm going to stick to it. No, look, I think, again, it's so easy to play into narratives this week and to get swept up in this whole, rivalries and Ryder Cup and whatever it is. All I want to do is go and try and put blue points on the board. I don't care who it's against. if I come up against Bryson at some point, that's great. I think that's wonderful for the championship and wonderful for us as well in some ways. But I just want to go out there and put blue points on the board and do what I can for the European team.
Right here, Bob.
Rory, can you recall your first Ryder Cup 2010? Was there a moment where it struck you, this is different, this is special, whatever it might have been, maybe a match or even team room type of thing that kind of got you thinking this is going to be something I really want to embrace?
Yeah, I think it's more the behind the scenes stuff, the team room, the team talks, how much, I think for me going in as a complete rookie, and I watched Ryder Cups growing up. I cried whenever America won at Brookline. It's not as if I didn't feel something when I watched Ryder Cups. But I don't know. I got into that team room at Celtic Matter, and I just saw how much it meant to everyone. And I sort of started, I was like, maybe I got this wrong. And, you start to see how much it, especially, for Europeans. And I remember Seve was sick, and we had him on, one of those conference call things like back in the day. And he's speaking to the team, and we're all in the team room. This is on the Wednesday or Thursday night. And I look around, and the majority of the team is crying as Seve is talking to us. And I'm like, that's it. That's the embodiment of what the European Ryder Cup team is. And I think that was the moment. That conference call with Seve in 2010 was the moment for me.
In the middle here, Mike 12.
Rory, the fans help make this event what it is. How do you feel when you hear the football-style chanting, and do you have a favorite song?
It's amazing. And I think as well, growing up as a fan of football and going to United games and hearing those songs and then having those songs, having the tune the same but the lyrics changed into something that, has something to do with you. As a boy, I dreamt of playing at Old Trafford and having those songs sung about me. I just didn't know they'd be sang to me on a golf course. So they're very creative. They're amazing. You obviously we won't hear it as much this week, but it's still amazing to, I think the last Ryder Cup we played at Whistling Straits, because it was off the back of COVID, we didn't have any support really there. I feel like we're at least going to have some this week, which is going to be nice.
Do you have a favorite song?
Not off the top of my head, sorry.
Dylan over here.
Rory, you guys have talked about, when you make one of these teams, you feel like you're going to be on them forever. And then for a lot of guys, it doesn't end up being true. I think you and Rosie are maybe the only guys that have played more than 3 this week. How meaningful is that to you? And I guess how surreal is it to be on teams with guys from different generations?
Yeah, it is. It's, Luke talks to us about that a lot. Luke went into the 2012 Ryder Cup as the #1 player in the world, the leader really of the European team. No one thought that was going to be his last Ryder Cup as a player. He certainly didn't think that. So he talks to us about that all the time, about really trying to make the most of this opportunity you have this week. And he is personification of that. And yeah, I've been, again, so fortunate to have a long career and to play in a lot of these things and to play against, players from all sorts of different generations. My first singles match was against Stuart Sink in 2010. And I played Sam Burns last time, and I don't know what the age gap is there, but it's at least 30 years, I would say, maybe 25, 30 years. So it's cool to have a long career and to be able to, to span those generations. Even at breakfast, talking to Jose Maria about Celtic Manor in 10 and, lying around the locker room for 2 days because we couldn't get out on the golf course because it was so wet. Just little things like that you can still share and you can reminisce a little bit, which is cool.
Great. Thanks for your time, Rory. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see. Shane Lowry joins us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Shane, welcome to your third Ryder Cup. Let's go ahead and get started with questions right here with Mark.
Hi, Shane. With regard to Rory, other than the obvious that he does on the golf course, can you speak to what he means to this Ryder Cup team behind the scenes in the in the back rooms and whatnot?
I guess he's just kind of like the figure in the room. Well, not just him. Probably him and Rambo are probably the two people that a lot of people would stand there and look towards for like leadership. And I think they both do a great job at that. The whole week, well, not just the whole week, the last few weeks, he's been like that. Obviously, look, I'm very close to him anyway, and I see what he's like all year, so it's different for me, but. I feel like a lot of guys look up to him and Rambo in the team room, and they really are they lead from the front. They did in Rome. I think they'll do it this week as well. And he's just to have one of the greatest golfers of your generation in your team room is pretty cool as well. So I think everyone feels very lucky to have him on our team, and yeah.
Thanks. Over to Sean.
Shane, when you get paired with someone, is it always explained to you why you're paired with them?
Yeah.
Do you ever have a say in the matter? Does it always make sense?
Well, we all get the text or the conversation with our captain and vice captain about who would you like to play with, who do you not want to play with. That's kind of goes without saying. I think from what I know, like, our team is like pretty much we'll do whatever we're told, and we've got a lot of faith in Luke Donald and his backroom team to lead us in the right direction. So, but yeah, you would, I guess, like, in foursome, certain golf balls have a big say in it, or if you're not comfortable playing with a golf ball, it is going to matter. So yeah, you do have a little say, but I think for the most part we're very much on the train of Luke makes the calls, we do what we're told and try and play as best we can.
Over here, 14 with Philip.
Hi, Shane. You're a player who wears their emotions on the sleeve, quite passionate. You talked about keeping it in Rome, which didn't last too long. How important is it to do that this week, and how does that differ from your normal self?
Yeah, like, obviously I've thought a lot about it over the last few weeks. I think it is important not to give the crowd too much to cling on to, but it's also important to be yourself, and not try to be anyone different. And I think what got me here is being myself, and I think I have to be the best version of myself this week. And yeah, if my emotions do come out, it'll be a good thing, in certain ways. So yeah, I have thought it, and I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready to deal with anything that's given to me over the next few days, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, this is what I practice for. This is what I live for, and I've wanted this, since we finished on the 18th green in Rome that evening. This has been one of my goals, to be sitting here. So yeah, and my other goal is to be sitting here Sunday evening with my team with the trophy. So yeah.
Stay right here on 14.
Shane, just on that, did you ever wonder, or did you ever worry over the last little while that you'd nearly built this up too much in your head? It seems to have been very much at the forefront of your mind.
No, like, it's just a big deal for me. Like, I am who I am. Like I said it there, I have to be myself. Like, I am who I am. I love this. This is what I live for. This is what I play golf for now. I don't not care about anything else, but it's like literally like this is it. Like, this is what I play for. And as soon as we finish here Sunday evening, I'll be thinking about it their manner. Like, it's just who I am. And I've been around a long time in the game, and I feel like I've achieved a certain amount of stuff that I've really been lucky to achieve. And I put this up there. A win this week would be up there with all of that, and obviously to compete in a dare manner as well will be incredible. So yeah, like, I do build it up a lot, I mean, it might get in the way a little bit the odd time in certain events, but I think I'm mature enough and I've been good enough at kind of keeping it sort of, yes, wanting it a lot, but then keeping it to the back of my mind as well.
But I just ask as well, sorry, one more. Like, what stayed with you longer, the feeling from Whistling Straits or the feeling from Rome?
Yeah, probably the feeling from Whistling Straits. I mean, that lasted right through to Rome. I'm kind of used it in Rome. So, yeah, that was a pretty tough week. And obviously Rome was the complete opposite. So, yeah, it's, yeah.
Dan in the middle here.
Over here.
Oh.
It's an interesting dynamic that all 12 Europeans play on the PGA Tour. Most of you guys live over here. I know you spend a lot of time both in Ireland and in Florida. What would you say is the biggest difference, not including weather, what would you say is the biggest difference sort of culturally between your time at home and when you're here?
Interesting question. I don't know, like, the biggest difference. Like, I live in Florida. My kids go to school there. We're very lucky to live where we do. We have a great life. I love it. The golf's amazing. It helps me compete, week in, week out in the PGA Tour. I think I would find it very hard to live in Ireland and compete the way I do on the PGA Tour. But I do love getting home. And, specifically, actually, I loved the last couple of weeks playing on the DP World Tour were, like, amazing for us who are playing on this team to get back into, like, sort of the European Tour, European vibes, fully away from the PGA Tour. And, like, you kind of see what this is all of what we're playing for right here. Like, it's not just playing for yourselves or your teammates. You're playing for like all of this. Like, we're playing the Irish Open in Wentworth. It's pretty cool to get the well wishes and all that when you're there. But culturally, the biggest difference, I don't know. I love being in Ireland, but I'm very lucky to have the life I have in Florida. Like, that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, will we live in Florida forever? No. We will move home at some stage, but right now when I'm competing at the highest level on the PGA Tour, I think there's no option but to live in Florida because the facilities and the weather is so good, and it's necessary for me to live there.
Over to Mike 9.
Yeah, Shane, some of the guys who've been in before you spoke about everybody having a role to play this week. Robert MacIntyre spoke about being on mission. What's your mission? What's your role this week? What do you hope to bring to the European cause?
We obviously all have one mission. We're only here for one thing, like, and that's to win and be sitting here in front of you Sunday evening. I think my role this week is obviously to play good golf, win points. But I think when we're sitting over there in the team room and back in the hotel, I think I bring good energy, good vibes, a sense of lightheartedness to the team. I think, we've honestly, like, the last 2 weeks, I've never laughed so much in my whole life. We've just had a great time. We've enjoyed getting ready together, preparing together, and I think I kind of bring some of that to everyone. And yeah, but obviously that's no good to anyone if I don't play well and win points. There's no point being good fun if you don't perform. So yeah, that's I'm here to do both.
Second day out of 3 playing with Rory in practice. If that were to happen, another partnership. I mean, you've had one go together, it didn't work out. Would unfinished business? Would you relish that?
We'll see.
Up to 20.
Shane, with virtually the same team this time around as last time, did you feel there was a sense if you could just hit the ground running this time? And that consistency is important, isn't it?
Yeah, I do think we have a lot of, like, obviously a lot of the same from the last time, like pretty much same backroom team, the same team, and you throw Rasmus in there instead of Nikolai, and yeah, there's a lot of continuity there, and it's nice, it's comfortable, we sort of arrived in Rome on the practice trip, and everyone's feeling each other out a little bit. You don't know what Luke is going to be like fully or his team. And whereas this time we arrived here last Monday, and you kind of know what you're getting. And it has been nice. I feel like it's flowed. It's flowed very well, and it's hopefully it's going to be maybe that little extra bit that we need to come out on top this week.
Martin?
Shane, in the aftermath of Whistling Straits, you spoke to us about the dog's abuse that Wendy and other wives and partners were on the end of. How much a concern is that this week?
Yeah, look, that was kind of my first Ryder Cup experience, and obviously my first away one. Kind of unexpected, you know, when you're going over there. But like, I think when you're ready for something, it's never as bad. Like, I think, you know, the New York fans have been great this week so far. Obviously, you know, it's practice days and it's a bit more lighthearted, but you know, it is what it is. It's like I played an away Ryder Cup and a home Ryder Cup, and I'm pretty sure Rome wasn't much fun for the Americans either. So, you know, I think you have to be yourself, do your own thing, trying to use it as best you can, and you know, allow it to help you as opposed to hinder you. And I think we're all ready for it, and we're all, you know, mentally prepared for it. So yeah, we'll see.
We'll wrap it up right here on 12.
Shane, the European fans might be a little bit quieter this week, but how do you feel when you hear the football style chanting, and do you have a favourite song?
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good last night at the open ceremony, to be honest. I thought they were pretty loud. I was pretty happy with that. And yeah, they're good fun. Like, there's some great songs. And yeah, I think there's going to be, you know, there's a lot of Irish people, there's a lot of European people that live in and around New York. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be quite a few Europeans here this week, which, you know, hopefully they can be as loud as they can. And look, hopefully we can give them something to cheer about. And that's the thing, you know. If we play good golf, the American crowd will be quiet, the European crowd will be loud, so it's up to us to kind of do that.
Rory said he dreamed of playing for Manchester United as a kid and having fans sing his name. He would never have expected it as a golfer. So how does it feel for you?
Yeah, I probably dreamed of playing for Offaly in Croke Park and winning an All-Ireland medal. And yeah, I never thought I'd be sitting here, let alone for the third time. So, you know, to be walking onto that first tee tomorrow, with, you know, not only your family and friends like a normal week, but your country and your continent behind you, and you know, it's pretty special. And you know, my goal is to give them, you know, my best this week, and you know, hopefully be on the winning side.
Thanks for your time, Shane. We
Perfect.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sepp Straka joins us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Sepp, welcome to your second Ryder Cup. Let's go ahead and jump right into questions. Mike 14.
Sepp, how would you compare the nerves you experience in the Ryder Cup to nerves you experience anywhere else, and what do you do to overcome them?
I would say unlike any nerves I've ever felt was that first tee shot in Rome. You can prepare all you want. You won't feel that way, but I think just experiencing the nerves and knowing you can pull off a golf shot, I think that's, despite the nerves, I think that's very important. And the biggest thing for me is just focus on my routine and kind of get lost in that. I think that's what I've found helps the most.
Do you find that it's a relief once you've got that shot out the way, the first one?
Yeah, definitely. I remember I was playing with Shane in the morning session in Rome, and I duck hooked the first tee shot in the left hay, and he came up to me and said, well, at least that's over with. Now we can go play some golf.
Sean?
How has it been for you prepping for this week, given all that's been happening with your family and away from the course?
It's been great. We've been very fortunate that we've got a great team looking after our son. We're blessed, very lucky. He came a little early, and but it's been great. Obviously, wasn't able to travel to Wentworth like I wanted or I was planning to before, and my wife's been incredible. The doctors have been incredible. It's allowed me to kind of dedicate a lot of time to try to prepare for this at home, and also spend a lot of time with my family. So it's been really great.
Doug?
Sepp, what's the dynamic for you this week as a guy who's described himself as 100% Austrian and 100% American?
Tune into the Austrian side. It's great. This team is incredible. It's been such an honor to be a part of in Rome and again here. We've got basically the same 12 guys. Nikolai got in yesterday as well. He's here, so it's just awesome to kind of have that family, that team around you, and incredible to be a part of it.
Will the crowd go easier on you, or does it matter because you're wearing blue and gold?
Fortunately for me, I don't know that much of the crowd knows who I am, so I think that's helpful in that. I think it'll be a tough environment regardless, really looking forward to the challenge.
Dan?
Guys talk about not knowing if they're going to make this team and how stressful that is with everything else being perfect in their life. With everything that was going on with you, was it difficult on a personal level to try and put in the practice, or was golf almost like a refuge for you?
I would say, preparation up until probably up to the playoffs was great. Everything was normal, and then right before the playoffs happened, that's when things kind of got a little bit unsteady. And so right around the playoff time, so leading into Memphis, BMW week was close to zero preparation. And obviously the last few weeks has been a lot more stable, so it's been great. I've been able to prepare very well, and but the fact of not knowing whether you're going to be on the team is always nerve-wracking. Obviously, I was bummed that I couldn't show off my game in Atlanta or Memphis really, and that was a bummer. But Luke has been incredible throughout the whole process. Communication's been amazing. And I've talked with him a lot over the last month or two, and I've been very fortunate to have him as a captain to lean on for advice off the golf course. Not related to the Ryder Cup. It's been really great.
Over here with Juan.
So Seb, I wonder, since Rome, is there more people in Austria that know what the Ryder Cup is?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's been great to see the support and the coverage that we've gotten in the media in Austria over the last few years has been incredible. And golf continues to grow. Hopefully we can keep growing it.
Do you think that puts extra pressure on you? I mean, do you feel more responsibility in a way? Or?
I don't. I don't think so. I've put a lot of pressure on myself, regardless. So I think that's where most of my pressure comes from is internal. Probably too much at times, and but it's just really great to see kind of the country rally around and the Austrian golf scene grow a lot.
Dylan?
Sepp, guys talk about how once you make one of these teams, you're that much more desperate to make sure you're on the next one and the next one. Have you found that to be true?
Yes, no doubt. Before Rome, we were all asked what the Ryder Cup means to us individually, and I'm glad I didn't really have an answer because I didn't really know. And I thought it would be something you would kind of check off your accomplishment list and then be okay with it, but it definitely is not. It's an honor every time to be a part of the team, and you definitely want to do it that much more the next time around.
Are there any specific teammates that you get a kick out of seeing in this team environment this week?
Everybody, getting to see Jon and Tyrrell is always great because obviously we don't get to see him as much as we used to. So just getting to spend time off the golf course with everybody is great. In a regular PGA Tour week, we have our families. We see each other on the course, may have lunch together, but we don't get to spend a lot of close time together. And yeah, with the practice trip and all the time we get to spend off the golf course together is really incredible.
Over here, 7, Cameron.
Being that this is an away Ryder Cup, maybe how has your preparation been a little bit different? I know your schedule's been different the last couple months too, but how has the preparation been different being on the road compared to what it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, it definitely changes. I'd say the way you prepare mentally, what you prepare for mentally. In Rome, we were able to use the crowd, and we tried to use the crowd to the best of our abilities, and the crowd was incredible in Rome and very supportive, and it was easy when you kind of had a rough stretch to lean on them to energize you, and that's obviously not going to be the case here. So I think it's going to be a lot more just leaning on your teammates in those situations because that's probably most of the support you have out there, and I think that's going to be kind of the key.
Take one more from Mike 14, please.
Sepp, since you identify as both European or Austrian and American, I wonder how you feel about the songs that the fans sing and why the Americans can't come up with some better ones.
Yeah, the songs are great. The songs in Europe are incredible. It makes for a fun environment. Obviously, I've not been a part of one over here. I think it's just a little bit of a difference in cultures. I think a lot of it comes from soccer. The songs are a part of that, and I'd say over here it's a little bit less of that. So that's probably what I would go with.
Great. Thanks for your time, Sepp. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
felt under pressure after the last one.
Tyrrell Hatton joins us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Tyrrell, welcome to your 4th Ryder Cup. Let's get started with some questions. Mike 13.
Tyrrell, I remember you speaking quite amusingly about how much you love swearing in Rome. How much do you like getting sworn at over here if that happens? And is it, you can be a combustible character sometimes. Are you going to try and just be yourself, or you got to try and, if there's stuff coming from the crowd, have you got to try and be on your best behaviour?
I don't know. It's hard to say until you're put in that position. Ultimately, I'll just try and be true to myself and try and react in a way that is hopefully the right way to do it. But yeah, I haven't really thought about that too much, to be honest.
Stay there on 13.
Yeah, hi, Tyrrell. Can I ask you about your partnership and friendship with Jon Rahm? Why do you think it works so well? And what's the best and worst thing about him on or off the course?
I guess we're quite similar in some ways. We're both very fiery and passionate people. And yeah, we have a mutual respect for one another, and certainly over the last few years we've spent a lot of time together, which has been great, and it's been fun.
Over to Gabby.
Tyrrell, there have been a couple players who have talked about using the energy out there on the course. You can use it however way you want to. How do you use the energy of an away crowd? What does that mean?
I think, well, from my only experience in Whistling Straits, that was obviously a difficult week for us. At least this time around, European fans have been allowed to travel in, and we'll have at least some support this week. And although we're the away team, the amount of fans we have, they'll try and make their voice heard, and yeah, we'll try and use their support and hopefully be able to play some good golf.
Mike, go ahead.
Tyrrell, just going back to your friendship with Jon, I'm wondering how much playing the last 3 Ryder Cups with him, obviously being partners, helped develop that relationship with him and maybe accelerated the friendship.
I'd say probably over the last 2 years where we've played live, and that's really where we would have got a lot closer. Before that, a regular PGA Tour event, we didn't often play practice rounds together. We weren't out for dinner most nights, say. So we obviously paired well at previous Ryder Cups. And then, yeah, it's only over the last few years where we've got to know each other a lot better.
Dan, go ahead.
I know you played well enough to make, over here.
Sorry.
You played it well enough to make it a moot point, but how much was the possibility of not making these teams, how much did that weigh into your decision whether to go to Live Golf or not?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the scary parts of the decision. I knew that my opportunities to make the team would be limited, and yeah, it's a scary thing, and I definitely feel like the events that I played outside of Live, I had the extra motivation to play well. I mean, I still try it's not like I tried any harder. I try my best no matter what, and but certainly knowing that the majors had an extra importance to them for me, maybe helped me. Yeah, it adds a little bit of pressure, but I feel like over the last couple of years, I've dealt with that pretty well. And although my performance in majors hasn't been amazing, it's got better the last 2 years. So I take that as a positive.
Stay there on 6.
Hi, Tyrrell. Donald Trump's here tomorrow. How do you feel about having him here?
I mean, I think it just shows how special the Ryder Cup is. I did. What a sporting event it's become. So, I mean, Trump loves golf, so it's not really a surprise that he wants to be here and enjoy the atmosphere. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a good day, and I think everyone out there tomorrow will enjoy the atmosphere in one way or another, and I don't see anything wrong with wanting to be a part of it.
Alan on 1 right here.
Tyrrell, Rory's always been a leader for Team Europe, but now that he has gray hair and a green jacket, has his presence or his aura kind of increased for you guys?
Well, I'm certainly jealous of the grey hair. I mean, if you look at my picture of my 4 Ryder Cups, it's got gradually less. So if I'm lucky enough to make 5, I think it'll be skin. But no, obviously, Roars is he's a huge part of the team. Everyone has a massive amount of respect for, and yeah, an incredible player, and certainly wants to do his best for Europe.
Just, how would you describe his leadership style?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know what I would say other than we all just have a huge respect for him, and I think it's the same for the other 11 guys in the team room. If someone has something to say, then everyone's all ears.
Up to 16.
Hi, Tyrrell. Up here. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hi,
Sorry.
how you doing? When you guys are out there on your practice rounds, what hole or sequence of holes do you think will provide the biggest challenge to players this week?
I think that probably just all depends on how the match is going. I think obviously the course setup is for those of us that played the PGA here in 2019. The course is very different. So I imagine that there's going to be a lot more birdies than what we faced 6 years ago. So yeah, I mean, the course is going to be set up that will reward good golf, and there'll be plenty of birdie opportunities, as I said. So I think every hole is going to be important. And yeah, you just have to just keep going and try and be aggressive, to be honest.
Up here, 14.
Tyrrell, a lot is made of the nerves here, particularly on the first tee and big moments in the Ryder Cup. Can you describe what it actually feels like to experience those nerves, and how do you overcome them?
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of just excited to get going. It's like a long build-up in terms of the anticipation for getting there on the first tee, and yeah, I mean, naturally you want to play as well as you possibly can, and I guess that adds to the nerves, the excitement. It's just a combination of quite a few emotions. So it's a fun place to be. There's certainly no other place. I think a lot of golfers would love to be standing on that first tee and having the opportunity to go out and play. And it goes back to the saying that we've always say, like, if once you've played one Ryder Cup, you never want to miss another one. And yeah, it's, I guess, trying to embrace those feelings, and it's certainly nothing to shy away from.
I heard Colin Montgomery once say that he used to do his 37 times table on the tee, and that was his way of coping with it. Do you have any methods on how to deal with nerves?
No, I certainly don't think I'd get very far with 37 times table either. No, I don't know what I do, to be honest. just there.
Dylan, go ahead.
Tyrrell, this is one of the weeks that we talk about golf rivalries, and I'm curious if you've ever had a golf rival, maybe back when you were a kid or in school, someone that either had your number or you really wanted to beat.
Off the top of my head, no. Never. Sure, there's guys when you're going through junior golf that when you're competing against, they seem to win most weeks and that you're playing. But I don't think that's a rivalry. I think it just shows that hopefully that you can improve as you get older, and hopefully one day that you then start beating them. There's nothing. Everyone progresses differently at different times, so there's not a standout person that I would have said was a rival.
Doug, go ahead.
Tyrrell, I mean, it was a one-sided crowd at your first away Ryder Cup. Do you remember any of the stuff that was said to you, and what percentage kind of made you laugh inside, and which percentage didn't?
My memory's not great, so I can't think of certain things that were funny or anything that maybe irritated me in that moment. But it was also 4 years ago. But yeah, I don't know what else to say there. Sorry.
Thanks for your time, Tyrrell. We appreciate it. Jon Rahm joins us now at the 2025 Ryder Cup. Jon, welcome to your 4th Ryder Cup. Let's go ahead and get started with questions, starting right here with Dan.
Over here. Jon, what's one part of this week that you love that maybe as a kid you wouldn't have expected to love or that you didn't think about? Something unexpected about this week that you always look forward to?
You kind of got me a little bit on that one. I definitely didn't know what to expect on my first Ryder Cup. Obviously, after that first one, it's more how fun the team aspect is, right? Getting to see all the different personalities and how much we truly laugh and enjoy the locker room moments this week. It's not something that I thought of as a kid. When you're thinking as a kid, you're thinking, Poulter's putt at Medina, this other putt, right? G-Mac's putt on 16 at Celtic Manor, all these great moments. And all I thought about was the golf aspect of it. Never thought of what happened in the locker room, right? And that first Ryder Cup was quite interesting to see all the personalities come in that I don't ordinarily see on day-to-day.
Sean?
Jon, a lot of guys mention how the Ryder Cup feels like the first time they maybe really belong at the highest level among their peers. Your first Ryder Cup, did you feel like you belonged at that point?
Yes and no. There's definitely a hierarchy because I'd only been a pro for, I think, not even 2 years at that point. Actually, just over 2 years. And I was high in the world rankings. Yes, I had been playing great golf. But the second I got in the locker room, it was very, very, very apparent to me that I was way lower down than when it came to Ryder Cup just because of how comfortable some players were and how different the dynamic of the week is. Did I belong? Yes. But the presence, and like nowadays you'll say the aura of some players, like the second you walk in the locker room in Paris, Sergio and Poulter were very, like just the heaviness of their presence was apparent right away. Same with Rory, same with many others, right? And as a very young rookie, right, the intimidation did happen right away. It was very different to what I expected, which was, in a weird sense, very, very humbling going to the future Ryder Cups.
Is it obvious who the Sergio and Poulter are in the European team room now?
Yeah, I mean, especially at that moment, like it was, and I think Sergio that week became the highest point earner in the European team history as well. And there's more players like the Lee Westwoods and the people that have been there for nearly 10 Ryder Cups. I mean, Lee's done 11. I think that was his 10th. It's just this presence. There's so much that they had all experienced together already for a better part of 20 years that, right, you're the new kid coming in. There's a lot you have to learn.
Up to Mike on 10.
Jon, how would you describe the development of your relationship with Tyrrell over the last 3 Ryder Cups, especially in comparison to the last 2 years?
So I don't think Tyrrell and I said a word to each other in Paris till Sunday night. We both together might have said 10 words all week. So we were both extremely quiet. And obviously in whistling, that changed a little bit, right? We got paired together. We have similar interests. Right? Both at the time we're playing Call of Duty. We were the only 2 on the team I think I'd ever played. So we had some shared interests in that sense and played golf at the same intensity. So that's when we got paired together for the first time and had a great time on the golf course. Did really well with that great birdie from Tyrrell on 18 to tie the match, right? So I think that's what it all started. And then going into Rome, that week is when I think our friendship really started, sharing those foursome matches with him, and then obviously the last 2 years. I mean, he's a heck of a guy to be on. I think he gets wildly misunderstood on the golf course. He's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet off the golf course, who is not afraid to make fun of himself. Obviously, he competes the way he does, and I fully understand the way he competes because our thought process is very much similar. But the more I get to know him, the more of a better person he truly is. And you see that in many different ways than just being around the boys. It's just the way, the way he treats the people around him, the way he treats his wife. He's a great human being.
And also, we got his version of the postseason celebration. Can we get yours?
The whole version?
If you don't mind.
How much did he say? Did he say the whole story on Wentworth? Like the entire thing? What happened at night, everything? Oh. Do you need my version of him or my version of mine? Because it was
your version of yourself.
I don't drink a lot, but luckily I have a bigger tank to put it in. So, yeah, we. The main thing is obviously he had just found out he was qualified for the Ryder Cup, which, being in Live, is extremely difficult. What he did is outstanding, and I understand why he was. The pride he felt, why he wanted to celebrate, and plus being the end of the season for us. But the problem was the amount of things we mixed. Because I'm not going to get into amount. I'm sure he did, but between wine, gin and tonic, amaretto sours, one margarita for some reason, and then this strawberry lemonade vodka thing that we don't know what it was. The bartender was very creative. That was just a little bit too much. Yeah. None of us were feeling good on Monday, but he was definitely feeling the worst.
Thanks. Alan on one.
John, how have you seen Rory's role evolve across the different Ryder Cups?
Sorry? So I think in Paris, he's definitely one of those names, right? I mean, it is Rory McIlroy. He's one of the greatest players we have in the world. And there's still that level of presence from the other guys, right? But I think as the Ryder Cups go on, especially in Rome, I think in Rome it shifted. Whistling, unfortunately, it wasn't the week for him. He wasn't playing his best golf, and when you're playing bad as half, it's very hard to still be there that way. But when it comes to Rome, he was him, right? He's the biggest name we have in Europe. He's the better player we have in Europe, and he's definitely the biggest presence, and that's his role now, right? So he's gone from obviously being an incredible good player to a great Ryder Cup player to now being I would say the cornerstone the Team Europe needs. So it's special to have him there. It's special to be around. He's a heck of a superstar, and my respect for him and his game only grows the more time I spend with him.
2.
John, you're an emotional player. How much will this week be about controlling those emotions on the course, and is there a way to prepare for that other than VR goggles or all those things?
I don't think that we're creative enough in those VR goggles to where we're heading here this week. So far, what we've heard in practice rounds. The good thing about this week is New York fans are so passionate. And luckily for me, that's something I can relate to, right? It's, in both ways, it's really, really fun. But they have the ability to be incredibly creative, which we can all appreciate, right? We've all been in a home game trying to say some things about the away team, right? But some of them, people here come up with some things that I would have never in a million years come up with. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of. They understand sports, and in a weird sense, from what I've experienced in New York, is when you're playing good and you're performing well, they also respect that, right? So it's a joy to play in front of them, and no matter what, I'm looking forward to it because it's going to be special. You can mentally get ready for it if you've been a part of an away Ryder Cup. If not, you're going to find out on the first tee how you react.
Right over here, Cameron.
John, I'm curious, strategy off the first tee this week. I know a couple of the American players have been taking driver and kind of going straight at the green. Is that in the game plan at all for you personally, or maybe has that been discussed about what to do off the first tee depending on conditions?
Depends on the wind. Downwind, maybe not in the morning, but if we get straight downwind, it can get fairly close. And the rough isn't so high that makes you think about having to hit the fairway, right? So you can afford to miss the fairway, be so close to the green, and just have a good chance of hitting it close. So if it's into the wind, it's a driver regardless, and downwind most likely will be a driver. I don't think I've thought of a different club, to be fair. I don't know if I can get to the green though. I would need a little bit of firmness on the fairways for me to maybe reach. I don't think I have the carry that maybe Bryson or Cam Young or Rory may have.
13.
John, talking about the fans getting creative with the heckling, I saw it reported that someone shouted something about the weight loss drug Ozempic at you the other day. I don't know if you heard.
Oh yeah, first shot on the practice rounds. Yeah, I don't know exactly what he said, but I think what he said was, what did he say? Obviously he said, "Hey Rahm, he either say where's the Ozempic or when's Ozempic, something Ozempic. I just don't know what word exactly." Yeah, it was funny.
I mean, the heckling in general, you think it's on the right side of good taste, that there's no issue with it?
So far, it's been really, the humor's been there. It's been really funny. Obviously, I can imagine tomorrow things might turn a little bit, but there's always a few funny ones. And not only towards me, towards everybody. I'm not going to say what they said, but yesterday on 17, me and Shane Lowry had a good laugh at something someone said in the crowd. So it's, again, people can be really creative nowadays.
Thanks for your time, Jon. We appreciate it.
Thank you.